So, welcome everyone. Today's a very special interview. I'm here with good fellow Chuck Huber, who's been here in Australia for the last few weeks, and it's our chance to do an interview with Chuck. So Chuck's been here for the Oceania Stata conference, and really excited to have coffee with him here. So we're each having coffee here at a little cafe in downtown Melbourne. So welcome to Australia, Chuck. And
thanks, David. Thanks for having me.
And thanks for being here. So we've got a couple of things I wanted to ask you. Because you're a big Stata user.
I guess so.
Yeah. A big
enthusiastic
user of Stata.
Yes.
And you've been using Stata for a long time, even before you started at StataCorp.
29 years this year. In fact, next year will be 30 years I've been using Stata, so yes.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So what I wanted to ask you, while you're here in Australia, can you share with the Australian audience what are your three favourite things about Stata, and what are those three things that everyone should know about Stata or use? Or what are those three commands that you should use, that users should know?
So, I guess the first one that pops into my head would be margins. The margins and combined with margins plot are probably my two favorite commands in all of Stata, and I really any Stata user should at least be aware of those, if not using them. If you're not used to margins or familiar with it, what it allows you to do is generate marginal predictions after regression models. So whether it's OLS or whether it's logistic or probit or ordinal logistic or Poisson or whatever, it allows you to generate marginal predictions. And so I would have to say margins, again, followed by margins plot is without a doubt my favorite. Particularly, for example, I come from a public health background, and we do a lot of logistic regression. The output that we get with logistic regression is usually displayed in terms of odds ratios. And I've never been that comfortable with odds ratios. I can recite the canned, the odds of this over the odds of whatever. But I think most of us, even though we're saying odds, we still think risk. And it's not a risk, it's odds. What I like about margins is margins converts those odds ratios to predicted probabilities, which to me is much easier to explain and understand, particularly when you're talking about things like interaction terms. If you have an interaction term between two continuous predictors, how do you interpret that odds ratio? But when you use the margins command, you can convert that back to a predicted probability and make it really easy to understand. So I would say hands down margins and margins plot is my first favorite.
So that's your first favourite. So margins and margins plot. So
yes, we'll count those as one.
Count them as one. So if I was a new Stata user, where would I find them and in the commands?
So those are Stata works with what we call an estimation post-estimation paradigm. So you estimate the parameters or you fit the model, and then after you do that, you can do certain things post-estimation. And margins and margins plot are two of those things. Right. So after you fit your model, if you go to the statistics menu and scroll way down near the bottom, there's a post-estimation selector. And it's a smart selector. It's populated with things that are only relevant to the model you just fit.
Right.
So you'll find margins and margins plot in that menu.
Okay.
Or if you like, there's a shortcut. If you go to the command line, just type DB for dialog box, DB margins, and the dialog box will just pop right up.
That's actually one of my favorite ones.
Yeah.
The fact that most people don't know about DB.
Right. Yeah. You don't have to go through the menu. Just type DB.
Just type DB.
Yeah.
Okay, so what's your number two?
Number two, I guess this one's maybe a little unique to me, but I would say second is the survey suite of commands, survey set and the SVY prefix. In my previous life as an academic, I taught survey sampling both at Texas A&M and at New York University, and so I have a long history of teaching and using survey sampling methods, and Stata makes it so easy with the survey. I call it the survey set command. It's SVY set. You basically tell Stata all of the features of your survey design, the number of stages, the primary sampling units, strata, finite population, correction factors, weights, all of those things once in the SVY set command. And then all you have to do for the rest of your estimation commands or regression commands or even many other commands is just type SVY : in front of the same command you always typed before, and it just accounts for all of the survey features, all the survey weights and the strata and all of those things. So it's so easy to use, yet it's so powerful, and it cuts across all of Stata. Just makes it so easy to do to work with survey sampling data. So I would say that's my number 2.
And so that's your number 2. So you got margins plot is number 1. Survey set and SVY prefix as your number 2. Now, has anyone else got anything like that survey?
Not to my knowledge, neither one. To my knowledge, I believe there's one other software package that's tried to mimic margins, but I think it only works for continuous outcomes, for OLS. I don't think it works for Logit and Probit and Poisson and all those others. And survey set, as far as I know, no one else has anything like that.
Right.
That's very unique to Stata.
And I know there's a lot of users out there who love Stata for the survey, for its ability to handle survey data. So,
it just makes it so easy. So I
Very
get 3,
good.
right?
Yeah, you get 3.
Oh, I have one left.
You got 1 left.
This is like the genie in a bottle. I get 1 wish left. I think I'd probably say for my 3rd would be the Bayes prefix. Bayesian statistics has become far more popular, I would say, in the last certainly 10 to 15, maybe 20 years. It's become much more accepted by journals and grant reviewing institutions, funding agencies, things like that. And we've made it so easy using the Bayes prefix. It's another one of these prefix commands like SVY, where you can type Bayes : in front of your favorite commands, regress, logistic, Poisson, whatever. And what it will do is sidestep the maximum likelihood engine and run it through the MCMC engine and report Bayesian results, the means and standard deviations of the posterior distributions, the 95% credible intervals. So it makes it really easy to do Bayesian analysis, but it also has all the flexibility of traditional Bayesian analysis. So, for instance, our Bayes MH command is very, very powerful, but you have to write out all the priors and things like that to begin with, whereas the Bayes prefix, you can just type Bayes : run it, and then if you want to change one of the priors, you can. If you want to change all of the priors, you can. If you want to run multiple chains, all of those features and flexibility are still available with the Bayes prefix, but it makes it really easy as a starting point to just type Bayes : Great for teaching as well, for students who are just starting off learning Bayes, because they don't have a 15-line command where there are possibilities for syntax errors and things. So I guess I'd say the Bayes prefix is probably my 3rd favorite. And again, it's one that it cuts across all of Stata. It works with so many commands.
And I know Stata have been adding more commands to the Bayes prefix.
Oh yes, yeah. It works with almost every estimation command in Stata now. Not every one, but almost all, and I think we're adding more all the time.
All right, cool.
So that would be my 3.
All right. Well, Chuck, thank you for coming to Australia.
Thanks for having me. This has been great.
Thanks for being part of our impromptu webinar today.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
And it's a pleasure to have you here.
Yes.
We look forward to your next visit here.
I hope to come back again soon.
Okay.
Okay.
Very good.
See you soon.
Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye.